This is Trophy Gold, two robbers of the Crystal Frontier. Some of us have we're getting our purple crystal mojo going. We're doing a little bit of housekeeping and stuff before we actually begin play. So if you're just here for the module, you might want to skip ahead, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Because we are going to be trying out some new rules for Trophy Gold that are going into the final book. And we were just talking about one of the new rules is called hirelings. And we have a great excuse to create a hireling out of Pate if we want to try this out. So, Lysander, I think you've shown the most connection to Pate. If you want, even so, we're not hiring. We didn't hire Pate back in town, but you've kind of taken on Pate, and I think if you want to take on the burden of Pate for this adventure and get the advantages of this adventure, I think that's probably fine. Yeah.
I was thinking about it, and I was torn between giving him a bottle of water and telling him to wait at the entrance.
Right. Yeah.
Don't move. Just stay here and wait. But to try out this new mechanic, I'd be glad to. Yep.
Fabulous. So let's just read it out for people who are curious. So you can hire specialists to join you on an incursion. These individuals request a fee before joining you and also require you to pay their families in the event of their death. That's not quite how Pate how your arrangement with Pate, but mechanically that's what will happen. Hirelings function similarly to treasure hunters. They have their own skills, their own equipment, and access to rituals. They also have their own burdens. The base hireling has 2 burdens and the following traits: 2 skills, 2 pieces of equipment, and 3 ruin. Daniel, if you want to choose the skills and equipment, by all means, you can do that and just make a note somewhere about what Pate's deal is. For each additional skill, piece of equipment, or ritual, you increase their burdens by 1. For each reduction of their ruin down to 1, increase their burdens by 1. You may use any of the hireling skills, equipment, or rituals as if they were your own. They can join combat roles as a full participant. In taking on a hireling, a single player's treasure hunter temporarily assumes their burdens and must account for them in the total gold acquired during the incursion. If the hireling dies, the treasure hunter who hired them permanently increases their burdens by 1 as a form of payment to their family. So that's so we'll kind of try that out, see how that goes. If you want to be working on that while we play, or just get that ready. And we have a few other things too. The other thing I'm kind of interested in trying out is ranged combat. That's a brand new rule in the game. It's probably the most profound change to the combat rules. And so I don't know if any of you have a ranged weapon at the moment. I don't know if you do. Let's see. It does not appear so. If someone wants to take a crossbow or a bow and arrow or something along those lines, you can have it for free without an increase in your burdens. I don't mind, just for the sake of trying out this particular rule.
We could give a small bow to Pate. Then it was in his. He already had it. He just.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. So you can kind of use here. Give me your bow, Pate. That could be good. I like that. But also, if someone just wants to take a crossbow or something, you can just have it free of charge. I don't mind. So
it should just be Oprah's favorite things. Everybody gets a bow.
Yeah. Everyone gets a ranged weapon. You get a ranged weapon. You get a ranged weapon. So yeah, that's a thing. And then there's also rituals in combat, which is something that might come up as well. So there's essentially 2 different ways it can work. You can either use your magic to weaken the monster, thereby lowering its endurance, or you can do a direct attack, in which case the ritual is just your weapon. So, which I think is a pretty elegant, straightforward way of handling that. That's how I've always done it too, by the way. So, feeling pretty good about all that. We can just dive right in if you're ready.
If you want, I've got all the stuff for Pate. I just stuff that he used. You said 2 skills?
Yeah, I've got two skills, 2 pieces of equipment, using any combination of combat and backpack equipment.
Okay. So what I've got for him is rope use, since we've seen him use some rope, and perception, since he said, "Hey, look over there."
Okay, good.
And then I've got torch and rope, and then bow and arrows.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I saw your chat. Let me get you guys a link to the sheet real quick. I'll give you a link to the Google drawing as well. Say that last bit. What was the? You said he's got
a torch. He's got the torches that we've been handing him,
okay.
and the rope, and then he's got some additional rope, and then a bow and some arrows.
Okay,
I think is it 3 shot? Is it 3 boxes that you can use? 3 uses.
Yeah. So the ranged combat, we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, you have 3 slots which represent your ammunition. But it works a little differently than it would like in another game that uses kind of a similar system. So let's get you a link to the image board. Okay, awesome.
I'd love to add a crossbow to my inventory. I think that would be Kel's style. Okay.
Yeah, just making get a crossbow and put just like a note for now that just says like 3 slots open or something. And if you want to use it in a combat, we'll talk about that.
Cool.
So, good. Oh, there's another combat change too. There's risk rolls in combat. You can do a risk roll to participate in the combat indirectly in order to reduce the endurance of the monster. That's interesting. Okay. All right, back to this dungeon. So if you check out the the map, area 10, that big vast area, I will recap it for you real quickly. As soon as I can find it.
There's a bit that, and this might come into play right here. There's a bit that I forgot to mention last time, and that was from my last incursion. I picked up during Hearthfire some carousing time, and so I do have some useful information
good.
about possibly this map or a rumor or some kind of monster's weakness. And I don't know if it comes into play here or later, but I totally forgot about it.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot actually. How did I say that was going to work? Do you get to just use it in the moment as a bonus or something, or am I going to tell you something?
I just wrote down useful information includes rumors, maps, and a name of monster's weakness.
No, that's good. I will tell you that you hear a rumor about, maybe related to the fact that you know, maybe this is even what pushed you towards the Crystal Frontier. You hear a rumor that there are 3 types of common occulith found in these tombs: sparks, embers, and carbuncles. But there's a rumor of a 4th, even larger and more powerful occulith. And the occuliths are essentially like rounded out bits of the prism suffused with magical energy. So yeah. The Geode Grave. This is the area that you're in. You're currently on that little shelf of kind of like little shelf of rock overlooking the pit there, having just come out of area 3. Narrow ledges around the edge of the room overlook a great chasm, crusted floor to ceiling with transparent plum crystals. 20 feet below the ledges, the chasm floor is filled with heaps of tangled bodies, many partially covered in crystal growths. A wide stair with brass railings climbs to an arched doorway on the north wall. Now, I have given you the set goal here of navigate the area without rousing the Lith zombies. There are hundreds and hundreds of them down in this pit, just laying there. Docile, they seem like they're asleep. They're just not moving, kind of piled up on one another. And you see this area all the way across the little steps and things. There's also another area off to the left, that down below another little doorway that goes, kind of circles back to the part of the dungeon you were in, or that neighborhood. This might be one of those times to use tokens if you don't want to. If you definitely don't want to rouse these zombies. Otherwise, tell me how you're going to cross, if you wish to cross, or you can go back. You've got other places to go. So.
On a player level, I would say if we're going to cross through this room and explore this place, we should spend the tokens to do it. What do y'all think?
That's what they're for.
Yeah, when I was partying and back in the tavern, I don't remember them mentioning this room.
I've got one more bit of information too for that little tavern thing. You heard another rumor related to these tombs and the oculiths, that frequently light is used to bypass problems.
I will share that with everyone that maybe light might be a way out, since they seem to be partially encrusted with these crystals. But I don't really have
That's not necessarily. I just want to point out,
light.
just because I said it right here doesn't mean it necessarily applies to this moment. It's just like a general sort of thing. So.
I'd still give it a go, but I don't have any way to generate a lot of light. I do have a token.
Yeah, let's do a little check-in with the characters. This might be a good thing for people watching the video too. Let's do Burton's gold tokens and your current ruin. Lysander, what do you have right now?
I think my burden needs to go up, right? For Pate.
It's temporarily 2 higher, yes.
Okay, then it is 6. Gold 1, tokens 1, ruin 3.
Mm-hmm. Revel or Revel?
I have got, let's see, 3 burdens, 1 liquidated gold, 1 token, 3 ruin. But I have some more gold as found equipment right now, a fancy flask and a gem belt.
Very good. And Kel?
Kel has 3 burdens, 1 gold, 4 tokens, and 3 ruin.
Kel is sitting on all the tokens currently right now. So what do we think? You can turn back.
Kel would be. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's anything environmentally that would help us cross, ledges or anything that could keep us on the high ground. And if not, I think Kel would be interested, or I guess me as a player would be interested in chipping in some tokens.
Yeah, so I mean, you can kind of like, so here's the deal. With the limited light sources that Pate is able to cast off, you can see that the shelf does continue around different sides of the chamber, right? Now, who knows what you're going to encounter as you continue across it. There might be more problems that you hadn't anticipated, but in any case.
Kel does have a ritual that he could use, scent. Use your olfactory sense to navigate in complete darkness. Would that be applicable here?
I think it could be. Yeah. So what are you hoping to sort of like if you're just staying on the shelf wall, on the ledge, that's fine. I don't think that necessarily gets you any closer. Like you have to go down into the pit to get up to the stairs, right? So
yeah, I think that Kel would want to use the ritual to avoid these zombie creatures down at the floor, and just kind of like scope out a way that would keep them as far away as possible from.
So let me clarify here. There are hundreds of them. Like this map doesn't do it justice. They're piled on top of each other all over the place, right? It's almost like it was like a burial pit or something. Like they just like threw all these people down here, right? Like you, to even navigate carefully, you're going to be like carefully stepping over like arms and legs and stuff, right? It's not like clear paths, right?
How far across is it?
I would probably say about 200 paces, 300 paces.
Okay, how many feet is that? Because I've got rope measured in feet.
Well, what's your plan? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm wondering if there's a way to secure like a rope across the way, so we can kind of either shimmy across or swing across.
You'd have to have some way of like throwing it and securing
we have to anchor it on the other side,
Right,
but that just means we need to get one person to the other side in some way.
That's an intriguing idea.
I have climbing, and so I could maybe climb my way, kind of traverse across the wall, if we interpret it as rock climbing, with the rope in my teeth or tied around my waist or something.
Like use the shelf as long as you can and then climb the rest of the way. Okay, that's an interesting idea. And then I think I would probably need at least, I mean, let's just say like 3 lengths of rope. If you each want to produce a rope or that much rope from your equipment, I think you can do this, and then you can secure it.
Is our vantage point here high enough that we could like shimmy across a rope and like we wouldn't be in grabbing distance?
Yes, because the shelf is 20 feet up. So yeah, you'd be okay in that regard. Yeah.
How good are you at climbing?
It's a big risk, but
I have an alternative plan.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have a ritual to duplicate where I can briefly duplicate myself, and I could give myself a torch to act as a like a decoy. So if things go bad, I just take the torch and I run. And I can see where ruin comes from with this for me personally. But take it and run the other way, like run up into the cavern as far as I can before they pull me down. And I don't know how much
That could be a good
time.
backup plan, right? Yeah.
That's the escape. Yeah, that's the escape plan.
Yeah.
Alternatively, Lysander, being a librarian, is very stealthy, and so if the climbing didn't work, I could try to sneak. Across.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like Kel has a pretty good plan for getting across using the climbing skill and kind of following the ledge as long as he can, and then climbing rock climbing the rest of the way. Dangerous, but doable.
Sounds like Lysander might have a way to aid by using this decoy thing.
Yeah, that could be the basis of a help roll, right? Like,
yeah, and I could
ritual, right?
Yeah, and I could help by if they're getting close, trying to pick them off with arrows or something.
Yeah, I think there are too many for that to make a difference, but I think Lysander's plan would be a good help in the sense of like maybe temporarily distracting the creatures away, right? Maybe just long enough for Kel to make the rest of the journey, right? Highly dangerous. Let's talk about a risk roll. So there are a couple of problems. Shelf wall has great big gaps in it. So you'll discover that right away as soon as you start going across. There are great big gaps that have to be surmounted. You either have to make a leap or do a little early climbing to get past those. And then you're going to have the problem of climbing the rest of the way to the stairs from the end of the ledge, right? I think this is 2 risk rolls, like to get through the gaps and then to get to do the final climb. And so just talking about navigating the shelf of rock. Daniel, David, what could go wrong?
He could slide into the pit.
Yeah, the when he relies on the gems, they could break free and he could fall.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer. This might be a devil's bargain, but I think there could also maybe be something living in the crevasses, right? Like in those little like gaps. So yeah, we'll see. All right, let's talk about dice. How are you going to try to navigate these gaps?
If it's not too far, I've got athletics and I could just make a running jump for
Yeah,
it.
that sounds good. So you've got one light die for athletics and devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is in one of these gaps, there is a creature that is not the Lith zombies down there, no matter what.
I'm going to say no matter what, him moving around on the shelf wakes up the zombies on this end of the cavern.
So some of them will be on alert already.
No matter what, in the middle of your climb, the Earthen Council projects into your mind.
Well, so this is just the part getting across the shelf at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the ledge. But I still like the
Okay.
Earthen Council. I think it's good. But just to be clear on the stakes here. So what do you think, Cal?
I like the creature as a devil's bargain.
Very good. And you got 2 light dice. I think a dark die is automatic here. Go for it.
Okay, so that's risk 2.
Risk 2, 1.
Risk 2, space 1.
Yeah, risk. Yeah. Risk space 2, space 1.
All right. It's a 5 on the light and a 5 on the dark.
Okay, I'm still gathering. Still opening Discord, so give me a moment. Sorry, I forgot we'll need the dice roller, so I closed it. And now it's downloading an update. Awesome, cool.
That is higher than my ruin.
Yeah, and it's also the highest die. And so yeah, you have your rune's going to go up. We'll have to talk about why that is in a moment.
Okay.
And there will be a complication in succeeding. I think the complication is, God, this would be such a dick complication, but I'm kind of here for it. You drop 1 length of rope, and you have to find another solution for that last bit. But otherwise, you will make it across the gaps over to the part where you have to climb the wall. And so, narrate that. What does it look like? Give us the whole sequence. And I'll tell you what the ruin is in a moment.
All right, so I'm just kind of edging my way across the ledge here. And I've got the rope spool, it's tied around my waist, and then I have another length of it. I've got a bunch of it just like wrapped around my waist, and then I've got another length of it over my shoulder. And I think that as I'm jumping, I falter a little bit, and the rope on my shoulder slips off. And so I lose that. And on the other side of the ledge, I kind of peer over the edge, and it's maybe too dark for me to see what's going on down there, but I hear something, and I see movement down there, and the rope is lost. And so that's, I see this, or I'm aware of something that's not a zombie down there in that crevasse. And yeah, so I think I would shout across and alert everyone else to the presence of this other creature.
Yeah, so
then,
I'll pick up from there.
Yeah.
You're doing all that. Where your ruin comes from is there is like a tunnel in the wall of the second gap. And leaping out of the tunnel is a massive beast of feather and fur with razor sharp claws and a beak. And it leaps up, and it actually seems to understand the space really well, because it doesn't roar. It doesn't make any undue noise. It's quite lithe for its size. It just leaps up and snatches and swings and claws and manages to catch you in the back of the leg. Your ruin goes up, and you also are going to take injured left leg as a condition. So you're now stumbling about. and that lets us invoke a new rule. So we have a new rule here to try out, which is conditions. If a treasure hunter has a condition that would make a normal task more difficult, I can ask them to make a risk roll in order to do it. However, you're already doing a risk roll. If a treasure hunter has a condition that would make a risky task more difficult, I can make you include an extra dark die in your roll. So you now have an injured leg. You have a shorter rope apparatus than you thought you were going to have, but you are on the part where you get to scale the wall down to the stairs. What are the rest of you doing? Also, I will note that like this might be, I think maybe the help is probably going to come into this part, Lysander, because this is where the zombies are going to be really, really like key. So what are you doing, Lysander, to prepare for this potentiality that you're going to have to draw the zombies away?
I'm taking a torch from Pate, but what's the beast doing?
It just like leaped out and swiped and then went back in the hole. So,
I tell Ravel, I don't want to go that way.
No,
you don't have to, because if you get the rope, if you can manage to get the rope,
we're not going
strong,
that way.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
But we're shorter rope.
That is true.
It was. Were we needing the longer rope because we're going the long way around, but it's shorter straight across, or is that the length for the straight across?
That was the length for the straight across.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to bring up the rope, right? We're gonna have to. So what I think this means is we're gonna have to bring the rope up to the first crevice, and we're gonna have to try to get over the first crevice, so then we have a shorter distance. I think that's so. I think that means there's risk for us getting over the first gap that Kel jumped over.
No, we're not doing that. We're not going near that thing. Kel. And I'll climb out on the ledge near where the crevice is, and I'll be like, Kel, like, tie your.
Are you yelling, or are you just like making?
I'm just like talking like quietly,
okay,
but like not getting too near that crevice. And I'm like, toss me back your twine, and then if he'll toss me back his twine, I'll tie my rope onto it and toss it back to him so he can haul it across without anybody having to go near that creature.
Interesting. That feels like a pretty good plan. I think, well, let's first talk about Kel. Kel's not quite at the stairs yet. You are at the end of the ledge and you have an injured leg. You do have to, your plan was to climb the rest of the way down to the stairs, correct?
Right. Yeah, that was the plan.
So is that still the plan?
I think it has to be. I mean, unless there's somebody else that could come and I mean, they would have, if I'm understanding this, the kind of spatiality of it all, I think somebody, with my injured leg, somebody would have to come and finish the job. And so they'd have to jump over the crevice and then do the climbing themselves. Otherwise it's on me. I don't think that going
It's
down.
a harder climb, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have 150 feet of twine, and so that could even be double or tripled up to strengthen it.
Okay.
To make up the rest of that rope that was lost.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, then you don't need to do Ravel's plan even then. Yeah.
Right. So I could just do that.
Yeah, the other benefit if you do my plan is I was going to hold on to one end of the rope and tell you to tie it around yourself. So when you do your climb, we can maybe belay you if it goes poorly.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I think the problem here is not so much that like you having to like haul Kel up, because it's more of a lateral problem. I think it's just simply if Kel falls down, there's fucking zombies and that's the issue, right? Like, right.
But if we pull him up, he'll come out of the way of the zombies.
Oh, like if you go over to the ledge, if you go to the edge of the ledge as well.
So the ledge is long and we're on part of it. And if he falls down, he's going into zombies, but we can pull him and it'll lever over the edge of that cliff, whether we hop over or not.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, in any case, what do you think, Kel? It's your skin here.
I like the idea where I could be pulled back up.
Okay. All right. So Ravel, go over this plan again so we understand what we're doing here.
Okay. I'm asking him to toss me his twine because we dropped a length of rope. And so he needs some more rope, but I'm not going to toss him the entire rope. I'm going to tie some twine around the bulk of it and hold on to the other end and then throw it back to him. Or let him haul it back with his twine. And then I'll stand here and hold the rope, ask him to tie it around his waist. He'll make the climb. Once he gets to the other side, I'll release the rope and he can pull it over and use the entire length of, or actually I shouldn't release it. He needs to tie his length of rope onto it, and then I'll walk it around the ledge so we have a length across the middle.
I see. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Does everybody understand this? Like, everybody understand what's going on here? So it sounds like maybe this is your role, Ravel, more than even Kel's, since it's your plan, which I think is great. What could go wrong here, group?
Well, Ravel could be pulled down himself into the pit somehow.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe I think that maybe whatever the creature of fur and beak was down in that hole, maybe it just gets more brave, realizing there are more targets, or there's like more opportunity. It takes risks it wouldn't normally take, basically.
I'm gonna say all these sharp edges of the crystals cuts the rope, and then we're just separated from Kale.
That'd be a disaster, but I love it. Okay, Ravel.
Right. To be clear, we're using all 4 of our empty boxes on rope right now.
Lots of rope. Well, you also have some from Pate as well.
Yeah.
He's got some rope. Okay,
yeah.
good.
So you get your light die for the equipment, obviously. What about Devil's Bargains, folks? Here's where it's going to be really fun to look at Ravel's character. I'm going to make my Devil's Bargain. So you're a retired soldier, Ravel. That's what we know about you. And I'm going to say that you notice, as you're doing all this, you notice one of the bodies, one of the Lith zombies that is down there in stasis. It is wearing the same like coat of arms that you wore back in your retired soldier days.
That's the Devil's Bargain.
It's mine.
Okay.
That's good. I like that one.
Go ahead, Kale. Do you have one? Colin, do you have one?
I was just saying, I think that sounds great. I don't think I can top that.
I was going to say, no matter what, we see a light on the far end of the cavern.
Like in the direction you're going in, or in the opposite direction?
The opposite direction where I think my decoy was running. If that towards that light.
I think the coat of arms sounds interesting.
You have 2 light dice, and
is this risking mind or body?
Not right away.
Okay.
Not right away. But if it goes south, it could be risking Kel's mind or body. So let's see how it goes.
5.
I'm going to make the complication associated with the Devil's Bargain. So you're going to succeed. The complication is this. I would like to know, I think that this fate for your fellow former soldier, this would be considered a dishonorable way to go. What would be an appropriate way to dispose of this soldier and his body in a way that would honor his sacrifices and
if he was an honorable soldier, but that somehow ended up in this circumstance, like, I think, soldiers are supposed to be brought back and buried. That's like one of the proud points of the Imperial Army is like, we don't leave our dead on the battlefield and we don't bury them on foreign lands. Like we always bring them home. So that would be like what the army would do.
So how do you feel when you see this person down there? First, I mean, the big open question is why are they here? That's a big open question. But yeah, apart from that.
Yeah. I think it's just more mysterious than like upsetting, because I don't think things like ended well. Like I think I retired, but I didn't retire into service of the Empire. I retired at Fort Durham.
Yeah, well, so what's that about? Tell us about it. There's an opportunity to talk about that a little bit. Like what was your life like before?
I mean, I think it's just really hard soldiering. There was never any like real good wars or anything like that during my term of service. Hence one of the reasons like I survived. I was also good at what I was doing because I had like the ward protection, so I could keep myself safe. But I never felt like just a ton of loyalty. I did it because it was the only thing I could do. I think I even got pressed into service at first. So I feel like very little loyalty to the Empire. So when I was old enough to suggest retirement, I did. And I left and I went to Fort Durham. I used the only skills that I had managed to do and became a lancer for the governor. And I'm trying to earn his respect so that maybe one day I can earn his cut sheet job and be the governor of Fort Durham.
It is I would call that an atypical route through politics, but a good one. So you have your time from being in the military is a jaded one, essentially, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Interesting. So let's talk about this plan. You go ahead and Ravel, finish up the narration. How do we get Kel all the way across? What does this look like?
Okay, so we get him all the way across. Great. He throws the twine, tie it onto the rope, toss it back. And I like gesture for him to like tie it around your waist. And he does. And we're letting out lengths of rope as he's climbing across, kind of dragging his leg behind him, because you really do a lot of your rock climbing with your legs. And so this is a difficult travel for him. Blood is like dripping down below. I think there's some animation from the drips and the smell. And at one point we even hear a clicking noise coming from the crevice where the rope is going across. We're concerned something might come out, but nothing does. And then he finally safely makes it to the other side. He ties the other lengths of rope on. We don't ever let it dangle down in the zombies, and we manage to get it strung tight across and secured on both sides to firm anchor points.
And so you can begin your shimmying across the rope contraption, mere feet above the zombies. Even if some of them like do rouse beneath you, they'll just paw helplessly, up at your boots, and they won't be able to reach you. Maybe a particularly ambitious one does manage to climb atop another inadvertently and make a grab, but you can kick him away, right? The tricky part is this. You all get to the stairs. You're all there. No problem. And if you could just walk in through the door, you'd be free and clear. But you can't. The door is locked. And there are lift zombies starting to funnel toward the stairs. Now the stairs can only hold them about 3 wide. And so you can defend the position while someone gets you through the door. but so that has to happen though. So let's talk about the door. Now, find it in the little thing here. First of all, I have something to show you. This symbol is on the door. I am putting that in the in our little Google board. Just give me a moment there. That symbol is on the door. And now let me read. The stairs do narrow to be about 3 people or 3 zombies wide at the top, terminating in an arched doorway barred by a bronze gate. Now, the gate is pierced with these, this symbol, this like cutout, right? This like double diamond cutout. And beneath it, there's like an elaborate crown, a line of geometric skulls, and a keyhole. Okay. If you had the key, obviously you could just open the gate and go in, no problem, but you don't. And so you have to figure out how to either pick the lock, or if, you could maybe smash the gate open if you have the right equipment, and you can make a good case for it, or magic it, I suppose, if you could figure that out as well. But in any case, the Lith zombies are roused enough to where they are starting to file towards you, and they're going to come up the stairs. Who's going to try to get in through this gate?
I think I will try and ward this narrowing. So I will try and single-handedly hold
Very good.
things
Okay.
back. So
That'll give you
two
plenty
can
of
figure
time.
this out.
Plenty of time to work on the gate. Yeah. Who's going to try to get the gate open?
I have a pickaxe, which I could use to try to pry it open.
Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah. Let's talk about warding the space first. Because if you can ward the space, if you can pull this off, you'll have all the time you need to open the gate. So that will be no trouble. Or we can go the other direction. We can have it be Lysander trying to work quickly with the pickaxe, with Ravel helping with the ritual. However you want to handle it. However you two think would be best to do it.
So I think per the rules for help, you have to be risking your mind or body. So
there has to
is
be a
using the
dark die in the
pickaxe.
roll. Well,
Right.
Daniel can voluntarily put a dark die in it, right? So
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think that needs to happen though if we're gonna do aid.
yeah, there has to be a dark die involved if that's the route you're going to go, for sure. So really just kind of comes down to who wants to roll dice, essentially, right?
Well, can you build a decent? Do you have a piece of equipment? So you got your light die. Yeah. So you're just as good a position as I am. So why don't you go for it?
Okay, and let's see. Is that risk 2-1?
Well, let's talk about stakes and stuff first.
Okay,
What could go
that's
wrong?
what I'm shooting for.
Yeah. David and Colin, what could go wrong if while trying to use a pickaxe to pry open the gate, Lysander fails, or takes too long, or it all goes poorly?
It could trigger some sort of a trap.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like a trap too. I think that's where my mind goes.
Yeah, that sounds good to me too.
So trap is what the problem is going to be, and you have a pickaxe, so you have your light die. Devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is it's going to take. My devil's bargain is pretty simple. Basically, just a couple of them slip around the ward, and you have to combat them. So. Any other devil's bargains?
As the ward is going up, Pate gets pulled to the other side.
That's a rough devil's bargain, but two fantastic offers so far, Lysander. Colin, it's up to you to make something a little more enticing.
So the image that you showed us, it's like two, are those crystals or are they some other?
Oh, those are just like, that's the shape carved on the like metal of the gate, on the little like kind of centerpiece of the gate.
Okay, it's not like a crystal set into the gate.
No, it's just the shape that it's, yeah.
Okay. Had those been crystals, I had an idea.
I mean, the whole rest of the chamber is crystal.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll say that, we've been seeing these visions of this other reality through the crystals. And so looking at Lysander's drive, I think that there would be a very enticing vision would come to them as they're working away with the pickaxe.
That's intriguing. I'll think on it. If you choose that, I have some ideas. So.
I think I will. Yeah, I think I'll choose that one to see what to see what else we can learn about these people.
Yeah, that's intriguing. Let's talk about dice. You got 2 light dice so far. Do you want to go ahead and add a dark die to get the help potential, or
Oh
just
yeah,
roll the 2 for now?
Yeah. I think I would be working pretty frantically, knowing that we're about to be in a bad spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Risk 2-1. Take it away. Okay, so you have a 5 light. You can add a reroll, or add a die, or dark die to reroll, or we can get the help die from Ravel. But the complication on the 5, if you care, is you will be drawn to this image in the crystal, thereby complicating your life, maybe the lives of your companions. But you will get the gate open.
So he'll get the gate open, but be drawn towards it.
Be drawn towards a spectral, shadowy image of my choosing, and in a location of my choosing.
So I think that means I wouldn't be able to, fix the gate or lock the gate with my pickaxe. I'd be too.
That might be part of the problem. Yeah. I mean, but you will get the door open. That you've got that for sure. You'll get the gate open. Ravel, do you want to try to add a help die here?
Sure.
So you just roll weak point just to get a light die on the thing, and whatever it is stands in the roll. If it matches 3, or just weak. If it matches 3, then you
Dang it.
No, it is still a 5 light. You can still add a dark die and roll all again, Lysander, if you wish.
Does he get to roll my die too, or
No?
I think I'll just take the hit on this one with the with being distracted.
Ravel, describe the ward first. What does that look like?
So I let myself down from the rope and see that these things are starting to come up, and my friends are clanking away at the gate, and that's drawing them up a little bit more frantically. And I stand with my spear like this, and then I hold my arm out as if I have a shield, but I don't. And then this ethereal wall of 3 shields materializes in front of me, with me in the center and one on the left and one on the right. And that is like a shield wall, but it's mystical.
Nice. I love it. Lysander, describe how you're getting the gate open.
I'm using the sharp pointed end of the pick to pry open, just to pry enough, get enough wiggle room to get at the latch, and then I have like a small a pen knife or something, and I'm trying to jiggle the latch, and basically that's how I do it. I just, through the leverage and then through the fallout, I use a little fallout lock mechanism. Oh, there it is. And then I
Yeah, that's how Elder Scrolls works too. Good, I love it. Clunk clunk, the gate. I think it swings open. Maybe let's see here. I don't know if it really matters, but in any case, we'll say it. We'll say it swings open, kind of parts in the middle. And you can go through the doorway now. Kel, Ravel, you get to the arch doorway. Lysander, you're gathering up your tools and about to go through behind, just as the ward is getting ready to drop down. And you will notice another one of these shadowy images in the crystal. It is down in the pit, which you have easy access to from the stairs. It is down in the pit a little bit to your right as you're looking out. So basically just hop down the stairs and you can go look at it, but you'll be down there with the zombies. But you see another one of these shadowy images. It is Marcello when he was younger, much younger. And he is genuflecting before a green-skinned man in noble robes sitting on a throne. And Marcello goes into his cloaks and pulls out a box and opens the box, presenting something or showing something to the king. But unless you go down there and look closely at the image, you can't see what Marcello is offering. What do you do?
Is everybody else in the room?
Everyone else has
including Paige?
passed through the doorway. You're still out of the
Okay.
the geode graveyard.
And the zombies, what are they doing?
They're kind of like they're pushing up against the ward, which is about to drop. You might be able to sneak down there and see what you can see and get back and scramble back up, but this would be incredibly dangerous. But you could do it theoretically.
I'm gonna have to do duplicate.
And Pate is like, what like, Mr. Lysander, hurry! What are you doing? What are you doing?
Just give me your torch, Pate, and I'll be right back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out my my steel mirror, and I'm gonna look at my reflection, and I'm gonna say, I need you, old boy. Come on out and take this torch. I'm gonna have to do the duplicate so I can send.
I love it. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and do that. So let's check in with Cal and Ravel and Pate before Lysander does the incredibly dangerous thing Lysander's about to do. You go into the arch doorway, and let me describe the room for you. Hopefully. This area, it's numbered 11 on the map, is the Muraled Hall. Frescoed in fading murals depicting thin, green-skinned figures in tight-fitting clothes. A set of steps lead up to an archway in the north wall. The murals depict motley clad green people dancing and cavorting as if at some sort of bacchanal. Some of them genuflect towards the steps with their eyes closed. And the ones that are dancing, their eyes are opened, and their eyes have been rendered with what appear to be semi-precious stones in the wall, lapis lazuli, jade, carnelian, that kind of thing. Fairly inexpensive semi-precious stones. You have to peel off a fair number of them to make it worth anything. But you could. And so, Kel, you do go into this room, you see this via Pate's torchlight, And what do you do? And Pate is standing in the doorway, still hollering at Lysander to hurry up. That's still going on.
The people in the murals with their eyes closed, what were they doing?
They are closest to the steps on the north wall, genuflecting, like as if like whatever's beyond those steps into the next room is like worthy of genuflection, right?
What is genuflection?
Oh, like kneeling on one knee, like bowing.
Okay, kind of supplicating or kind of like.
Yeah, but specifically going down on one knee, right?
I see. Okay. I think I've got my notebooks out and I'm just probably drawing a depiction of the murals that I see. I'm curious what else might be in the room as I kind of sketch the room out. And I do have a token that I would love to turn in whenever it's appropriate.
We'll come back to that. Ravel, what are you doing? Are you trying to help Pate get Lysander in, or are you just doing something else?
No, yeah, I'm standing at that doorway, like waiting for everybody to come in so we can secure it as best we can.
Yeah, that's another problem, right? Like you have to get the gate resecured. Lysander, your plan is to use duplicate to clear enough of the zombies away from the portion of wall where so you can see more clearly the scene that's happening, correct?
Right.
David and Colin, what could go wrong here? I'll just say it, you'll be swarmed by the zombies and be killed. So
yeah, they're too sensory, but not sight sensory to fall for an illusion.
Yeah, they wouldn't fall for that's what I was thinking. Like the illusion, if the illusion means nothing to them, right? Yeah.
The way I read it, it's not an illusion.
Oh, well, that's fair too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an actual like me that's been
person.
duplicated.
Yeah.
Which to me means the ruin is very justified.
Then the horror is instead they devour this part of you, and that's you somehow you're not completely disconnected from that.
Indeed. Any other wild ideas, Colin, for what could go wrong?
Yeah, I was going to go along the lines of that somehow as this duplication gets swarmed, that I don't know if it, not knowing exactly how the ritual works, but that it's somehow lesser the next time it's used. It's becoming, its effectiveness is reduced.
Let's talk about your dice, Lysander. Do you have a relevant skill or piece of equipment?
I was going to use the mirror to get the image.
I love it. And let's talk about Devil's Bargains.
Oh, that's my Devil's Bargain. Your thing gets devoured, but you still are connected to it somehow.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. My Devil's Bargain is the duplicate. The duplicate takes something from you. Open to interpretation. My interpretation. You're muted, Colin.
So you're going down to get a closer look at and there's a specific like item that Marcello is passing to the king. Mine would be that whatever it is that you see at this closer look is extremely disturbing to you.
I think I know that Jason is up to the challenge for the disturbing image, so I will go with that. I will go with that one.
Please do. 2 light, definitely 1 dark because of the ritual. Take it away. Hey, 6 light. There you go. Doesn't get any better than that. Describe the ritual and describe how it draws the Lith zombies away enough for you to to see what you see.
So I get the torch from Pate, and or one of his torches. I think he has 3. I get one of his torches, and I get the mirror, and I tell the reflection, it's time. I'm going to need you to do this. I need you to take this torch and just run around and distract all these zombies so I can see what Marcello is about to give the king. And then that's what I tell the reflection. The reflection is then standing next to me and says, I take the torch or you take the torch. And so we have the finger pointing Spider-Man. No, you're the decoy. I'm not the decoy. You're the decoy. Take the torch and run around. Just get their attention. And I shove my duplicate off, and he turns.
How does the duplicate manifest? Like, where does it come from?
It comes from the reflection. So
I see.
I guess the reflection is there, right? And then it's gone, and he's standing behind me.
Oh,
and there's
got it.
two of
Okay,
us, or it's not even there. But I'm seeing it's a reflection from the mirror.
Yeah, I love it. So, okay. Well, this is going to work. So describe how the duplicate gets the zombies away. What does that look like?
He does a few hearty hey-hoes and shoves the zombies this way. Come on, you can't catch me. And just starts bouncing around with the torch, waving it at them, poking them, and just running around, making sure that Marcello's got that Lysander can see Marcello's reflection, and then he just runs.
Let's talk about these little zombies a little bit. They are so they are mostly the restless corpses of past tomb robbers in ruined gear, or some of them you'll notice as you get down closer among them, Lysander, some of them have green skin, like the image on the throne in the crystal image that you're seeing. And all of them are encrusted with tomb crystal. They are not fast, but there are just so many of them that they would overwhelm pretty quickly, right? And they are just sort of, you know how zombies in pop culture like moan when they open their mouths, These don't. When these open their mouths, they make a sound that sounds like glass being crunched under boot, or clomping around in snow, or something crumbling. A crunchy, crumbling sound comes up from within them as they open their mouths and make their noises. But they're chasing the duplicate as fast as they can in their somnolent way. And you are able to get down to see what you see. And what you see, I'll come back to in a moment. Kel, go ahead and take a hunt roll for looking around the muraled chamber. How are you doing so? Just looking, or are you using any tools or anything? Also, you might need a light source because it sounds like maybe Pate had his torch removed. So it might be a little dim in there, even dark. Yeah, it is in fact, it is dark. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm moving very far at all. And so I would need to see it all because of my injured leg. And so to see it all, I might need to produce a torch from my backpack.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I'll go
And
ahead and do that. Yeah.
so we'll say you have a torch lit as well. And take a hunt roll with 2 dice.
Okay, 5 is my highest.
Nice. Take your token. And you also encounter something terrible. Oh, you're spending a token, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd also like to spend a token.
Yeah. Let's talk about spending the token first. One of these frescoes one of the images, one that's a little bit far apart from the rest of the others, the dancers, almost like they're looking at the scene. This image does not have eyeballs in the sockets. The eyeballs seem to be like floating in front of the image's face. And those eyeballs are much nicer gems than the others. These are very like beautifully rendered and faceted jewels, gems, a type of gem, we'll say rubies. And they can be pried apart pretty easily. They're worth 1 gold total.
Okay.
And for your hunt roll, you will hear up ahead, deeper, like as if you were to go up the little steps into the next chamber, maybe even a little further than that. But somewhere up ahead, you hear a voice that says,
"Fear not, sister. We will be reunited again. I hear you even now. Come to me, sister. Come to me."
Ravel, Pate is very, very anxious because of what Lysander is doing. And also because the ward is getting ready to fall down. What are you doing to get the space secured?
So
You do
all
not
of
want a horde of
the-
zombies at your back.
right, all of the zombies just scurried after this thing, so the staircase is temporarily clear.
It
Is
is
that
clear
right?
at the moment, yes, yeah.
Okay.
They're pushing
Um,
against one side right now. Yeah, the herd.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and scurry to the bottom of the stairs. Like, I'll dismiss my ward, scurry to the bottom of the stairs and start greasing every other stair.
Interesting. What would that do?
And I'll like I'm trying to I'm trying to get Lysander to follow me too, so I can guide him up this. But this might kind of keep a clear path for us later, if we need to come back this way, either because the creatures can't manage to traverse this very easily, they'll slip and fall, or if they do manage to traverse it, we can ignite it and clear a path.
Oh, I see. Very good. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good plan. You could be doing
But
that.
we know we can go up every other stair safely.
Yeah, you could be doing that. Lysander, you've hopped down to get a better look at this image. As you're looking at the image, it is definitely Marcello making an offering to this green-skinned king. Younger, but not dressed in clothing that you would recognize. It's a different fashion. They open up the chest, and you can see inside the chest there is what has to be an oculith, and it's large. It is probably the size of like a bread basket, and in diameter, and it's glowing with a sort of like a very like a light green, like an aquamarine, seafoam green kind of color. And the king has a look of intense greed and desire on his face. He very much loves this offering. And then Marcello turns and makes direct eye contact with you, Lysander, in much the same way as the workers in the image before made eye contact with you. For whatever reason, these images make eye contact with you. And his eyes dislodge themselves from the sockets and begin floating in front of his face. And they are burning with red fire. And the eyes are just floating into the foreground of the scene until they look as if they're pressed right up against the crystal. And Marcello says, "Find me." And one of the eyes actually leaves the crystal and floats above your head, leaving a red, fiery, glowing trail, floats above your head, floats across the geode graveyard to that other doorway. Not the one you came in, the other one on the far west side. What do you do?
Run back up the stairs, skipping every step.
I will tell
okay.
you that the duplicate
outta
has
here.
made you a path if you want to go there.
Oh, I see.
You just happen to have a path. The duplicate's running in a different direction. If you wanted to book it to go over to that last doorway, you could separate from the group and do it.
Ravel's like shouting at you to get over here.
No, I'm not gonna go. I'm just gonna give a lingering look. And then I'll go.
Back up the steps.
Well, I'm just trying to see on the map that you provided, was that door on there?
Yeah, it is. If you look at the,
So
it's
so
like,
we can probably,
like you all,
we take- if we-
you all came in from that south entrance, but there is a westerly.
so there's still
door
another
as well.
door that
Yeah.
that we didn't go in, that maybe they link up, and I'll just make a note of that.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I might have to make some map projections.
Mhm, yeah. Very good. I like this plan, Ravel. I think it's interesting. Yeah. Because essentially, like, the zombies will like fall and pile up on top of one another, right?
That's
I-
ghouls on ice, and then maybe they
Yeah.
can even start crunching one another, and
Yeah.
like maybe eventually they start to get over. But
Do you have some kind of tools that might help you secure the gate again?
depends on how it is. Like if we can swing it back into place, I could probably take some of these iron spikes and wedge them so that it'll stay.
Okay, I like that. I think as long as you spend it, as long as you spend spikes, you can do that. You can. It's a swing open gate with like two pieces. So I think you probably like.
Okay, so like 2 spikes will probably do it.
I
or
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you take the time to do that.
Okay.
And your
Yeah.
and your little grease trap will slow them down enough for you to do that. Any that manage to get away from the duplicate or to peel off. So, but it does seal up your way back. It's a bit of a problem. So,
Yeah, I mean, we could probably remove these spikes again and maybe burn a path, but if
Yeah.
they're piling, there might be a big mound of them waiting.
it could be a problem. Yeah. But in any case, you're here. You're in chamber
I don't-
11.
Yeah, I don't know how persistent these zombies are, if they will eventually give up or if they'll
They might.
keep lemming style piling.
Yeah, they might. Who knows? In any case, you have a breather. You hear again this like kind of just loud moaning that sounds like crunching glass. Just it's almost like filling your ears, like snow on a TV, right? Like it almost becomes like white noise, and would be soothing if not for the fact that it's attached to these hundreds of of undead creatures, these crystal encrusted undead creatures.
Could we
And-
see what Lysander was seeing?
No.
I'm berating Lysander. I'm laying into him now that I've got him in here.
No. Look,
Let's have that scene.
one of
I love it. Let's have that scene. Roleplay.
one of those images activated at the bottom of the stairs, and that's why I sent the duplicate around. And I think I know the location of one of these oculus. It showed an aquamarine glowing oculus, and then it pointed a direction to the door which we are barred from. That'll be worth a lot of money.
You're out of your mind, Spivvy. You ran back in chasing some foggy dream, and you could have gotten us all killed. Pate is beside himself.
Well,
Kate says,
uh,
"That's right.
well-
I am."
it's well worth it if we can find just one of those oculus. We'll be kings.
That's true. Speaking of beside themselves, what was the thing with the mirror? What was that? Any other tricks you wanna let us know about?
I've got a couple.
Meanwhile, Kel, you heard something talking about its sister deeper in the dungeon. What are you doing?
I think with my injured leg, I'm not looking to go off exploring too much on my own. I didn't feel like there was much I could do to help out with the whole kerfuffle around the door and the stairs. And so I took my time and I made my notes, and I heard this, and I'll wait for the others to come in and hope to just regroup with everybody.
Can we take a look at your leg?
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no medical professional. I just want to make sure there's not any infection that could lead to zombification.
Yeah. We literally just take a look at it.
Yeah,
I mean-
seems injured.
You're like, yep,
Yeah.
that's an injury.
This is where you apply direct pressure.
Yeah, Pate, you got any skills? Any field medicine skills?
He has rope use, so maybe he could do some kind of binding.
Doesn't know.
Tourniquet.
I've got a torch.
It
It's
does not appear to
called
be any
field
kind
medicine.
of crystal. There are no like apparent like crystal infections, because this was not such a creature that struck Kel. It was some horrid thing of beak and bone. Also, while we're having a little breather here, this might be a good time to name some beasts for the bestiary, which I'll remind you carries on for the future. You have encountered essentially 3 types of monsters at this point. You have this sort of like strange crystal strand woman who appeared and was firing shards at you. You have these, we're calling them lith zombies, but you can name them something else. And we also have this like enormous bear / owl creature.
It's a bear / owl creature, huh?
Indeed. That's swiped at Kel. You get to name that as well. So if we all want to take a moment to name some things, that could be the thing we do, or just be thinking about the names at least. And otherwise, yeah, there are some steps which we have not climbed yet that go into the next chamber. What do we think?
Was there semi-precious stones that we could pry off the walls for?
Yes, it will take a while, and collectively they're worth 1 gold if you can get them all. Yeah.
I don't think we have time. We have a 12
Kel got
hour
lucky and found the one nice ones. I don't know if you put 2 and 2 together, but the ones that Kel found, the eyes were coming out of the fresco, like the image, and they were red. So yeah.
Yeah. There's an echo in the night right there.
It's probably more conspicuous than that even. there's nothing subtle about that trend, that whole sequence of scenes that just took place.
Shouting in the night right there.
Absolute bellowing in the night, exactly. So
All right. I think suggestion for names for creatures, the strange ethereal shard shooter, maybe like a crystal mistress or something like that.
and she was a 6 endurance, right?
Yeah. And the whole big pile of zombies, maybe they're glass ghouls or something like that.
I like that. That's pretty good. Class school.
I like glass ghouls.
I don't know what you call a creature that's half bear, half owl.
I wrote down beak bear.
We call it a bowel.
I will tell you that Gus has named it in the module Bear Owl. I know he's watching this, so just Gus, we find that very amusing.
Bowel is not bad.
Bowel's horrible. It's a terrible thing to name it.
It lives in a tunnel.
Because it lives in the bowels.
I've got
of
one that's
this
probably
cave.
equally
Multiple
I've got one
meanings,
that's
layers of
probably
meaning.
Oh. Mine is like Berk, so kind of like beak and bear combined. So like
That's
Berk.
pretty good. Yeah, like Barrack. Okay, that's good. If you ever fight that thing, it's endurance 10.
I think it's an ongoing debate between the treasure hunters about which it will be called, but what's written down in the actual manual is Beric.
I like the idea of you all deciding whether it's owl bear or bear owl, and which is the actual, like, which makes the most sense based on what you know about it. And
Did it have
we only
did it
saw it
have
for a
wings?
moment.
I think if it had wings, that would help.
yes, indeed.
I
I think if it
didn't
had
see
wings, it would
wings.
be more of a bear owl. If it didn't have wings, I think it's more of an owl bear, right? In any case, what do we call the crystal lady? What do we call her? Crystal mistress? Is it right like that or something? Do you have any other thoughts? I'm down with it unless anybody has any other ideas. The glass ghouls individually are 6 endurance, but as a group, they're that bigger group. It's not even a combat; you just die automatically. And in small groups, they're probably like 8. So okay. So Kel, what do you do?
I think I'd share everything that I saw and heard, and show the rubies, and then tuck them back away into my bag. And then I think I would just, I don't know. I mean, I think that I've taken probably like a section of my frock underneath my leather jacket and torn it off and just tied it around my wounded leg. And I think at the moment I'm looking for a direction. Like I'm resting and I'm just kind of.
There's literally one direction to go right now. That's if you want, like, when you say direction, if you mean like spatial direction, there's one way to go. If you're looking about existential or philosophical direction, I can't help you with that. But navigationally, there's one way to go.
Ravel's like watching you bandage your leg up, and he's like, I've heard honey's good for that. You would know. Is honey good for wounds? Is it just good for colds?
Yeah, I think that, it's better for the sniffles with a hot cup of tea.
Well, if it ends up being an owl bear, I don't recommend it. So
that's probably why it went after you. That must be why it went after you.
So, well, there's 1 point for owl bear as opposed to bear owl. New set goal, by the way. New set goal is pass through the bronze portal. No bronze portal in this room, so it must be something else.
I might suggest that Pate go with their torch and go investigate that portal on the other side of the room.
He says, so you want me to climb those stairs and go into the next room alone?
No, we'll go with you. I will.
He says, well, should I go first or second, do you think?
Just come on, Pate. Just try to keep up.
Torch leads the way. Come on, man.
He starts up the stairs and regrettably, as soon as he hits the 3rd step, you hear chunk chunk as a pressure plate is triggered and spears are flying out in all directions around the stairs from holes in the floor and ceilings and walls around it, just like a maw of spears popping out. Lysander, you're okay. Pate will die unless you can react quickly here. Lysander, what do you do?
I attempt to knock him down the stairs, which could also kill him, I guess. How
No, it's not that high up. It's only like
I'm gonna try to knock him down the stairs.
well, so you're behind him, so you can like pull him back, I guess.
Yeah,
or...
just try to like push him off to the side of the stairs.
Okay, good. Risk roll. What could go wrong, group? I think it's pretty straightforward. Pate dies, but I will take other ideas.
Lysander could take some
That's
damage.
true too. Yeah, you could get hit as well. Yeah. That might just
Yeah.
be an inevitable cause of the die roll too, to be fair. But
Yeah, I mean, what else could go wrong from this trap?
I mean, it may not be more complicated than Pate dying, but yeah,
Yeah.
unless you have like some other like amazing idea.
No, I mean, it could also bar the way.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, okay, so let's talk about dice. Lysander, do you have anything skill wise that's relevant? I think it's just skills. I don't think you'd have time to react with equipment. So
Maybe maybe with stealth, where I'm trying to get him to get down to be to like pull him away from it, to try to get him to be as careful and as quiet as possible.
I think this reaction requires something that's more just like reactions or athletics or something like that. I don't know if that post facto makes as much sense. Let's take a look at your skills, because you might be just flying with Devil's Bargain here. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's it. I think Devil's Bargain is the only way you're getting a light die here.
I don't think I've ever used organization. I don't know how to.
I don't know how it would apply here. So let's what do we think? Devil's Bargains. I want to say no matter what, Pate's injured.
No matter what, the torch goes out.
Oh, plunging you in darkness. That could be good.
No matter what, your duplicate self begins mocking you from the other side.
He's made friends with the zombies, with the glass ghouls. They're chilling.
I'd kind of see that play out, because
Yeah.
we just left him hanging. I'd like to see how that played out.
Take it, one light die, and I think a dark die is automatic here. Go for it. Risk 1/1. You succeed. The complication is going to be. I think the complication is going to be that Pate is just fucking gun shy now. Like, he will no longer be the first person going in anywhere. But otherwise, this works. Go ahead and describe how you save Pate from these spears that pop out of the ceiling and floor.
I think that's higher than my ruin, so my ruin goes up.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
So I'll use that. I'll use that. So as we hear the clunk and the whir, and I push him off to the side, several of the spears that were intended for his chest like catch me and knock me backwards, and so I'm not sure what gets hurt more. Probably getting stuck. So I've got two puncture wounds at the top of my shoulders, and then I hit the ground pretty hard.
You start to hear laughter coming from the gate that you came in through. And you see your duplicate self pressed up against the bars with lith zombies or glass ghouls pawing, clawing all around him. And he's just laughing with his face pressed against the bars. And he says, I've always wanted to say this, Lysander, but I hate you. I hate everything about you. You think that I am just a facsimile of you, but no, you are a lesser version of me. Except after I am torn to pieces by these creatures that you have thrown me to, I'll get to come back. But you, when you die, inevitably going deeper into this place, when your body is rent into pieces or you're run through with spears, you'll stay gone forever, and I will be free. And then the ghouls just swarm him and pull him in deeper, and he's laughing the entire time this is being pulled apart by them.
I stand up and I check my wounds and I say, I'm not too proud to admit it, but I am actually the lesser of the two.
Very good, very good. Well, Pate is like, no more, no more. This is not what I signed up for. I did not sign up for this. I was promised a share of the treasure to stand there and hold the torch, not to lead the way. Someone else leads the way from now on.
Do the spears go back in, or are they like still
No,
extended?
they just hang loose. No, yeah.
Okay. So the trap is sprung.
Trap is sprung.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go and see if I can't liberate those spears from their little hole contraption things.
Just to have the spears, or?
Yeah, I mean, just in case we need a little bundle of spears for something.
Oh, they're pretty. They're like very. Yeah, they can. If you want to spend the time to disable them and pull them out of the mechanism, you can probably do that. While you're doing that, what are you doing, Kel?
The trap being sprung, I'll hobble up to the, this is a bronze door.
Well, the Seckle is past the bronze portal, but you don't know what that is yet. So
Okay, I see. I'll hobble up to the door with my torch, which is still lit, and just start to inspect.
yeah, it opens up into another chamber, and I'll describe that chamber for you right now. So the bottom half of the walls in this smoothly carved chamber are covered in mosaics. The ceiling is here's a word I've never encountered ever in my life, a macarnus of lavender crystal points. I don't know what that means, Gus-El. Ornate brass braziers stand in the corners of the room. So that's important. These like brass braziers in the corners of the room. And a 10-foot diameter circular bronze door is the central feature directly across from where you're looking in. What do you do? And you can take a hunt roll to get further information if you wish.
I think I'm looking for anyone in the murals in either room that might identify themselves as significant in some kind of way. I'm looking for this sister that was mentioned in the voice.
Intriguing. Yeah. Take a hunt roll. Do you have a relevant? The torch is enough to get the second die, so go for it.
Okay, great. A 6.
Take your token. I assume you're walking into the room.
Yeah.
So the mosaics in this room are detailed in artful works capturing daily life in a fortress that is both sterile and ethereal. The fortress windows are filled with black, but the green-skinned, elongated figures are vibrant and cheerful. The figures are depicted carving stone, cooking, operating strange machines, hunting fowl in an enclosed wood, and growing tubers in glass tubs. There's nothing stands out as like, oh, this is the sister being referred to or anything like that. But above this circular bronze door, you do notice some words that are written in, well, let's see if you would know the words. Climbing, swarms, resilience, flora, and fauna. I don't think you have a relevant skill that would allow you to read it. but there is some kind of message written above the door. One of your companions might have a more relevant skill.
I'm helping getting some of those spears. I'm helping to.
You can
speed
get all
that
the
up.
spears out, and you can just put bundle of long bronze spears.
I think I'd like to take one just to use. I had no idea this place was trapped. Who would put this on their stairs? So I'm gonna have to use one of them to like poke around for traps.
I see. Use it as your 10-foot pole.
Yep.
That's about how long it is. Not quite that long, but pretty long. Okay, so you're poking around the room, I guess. Is that the plan?
I just wanted to help get the spears, and when that's done,
Okay.
I'll take a look at the mosaics and see if I have a skill that can help out with that. I might.
Yeah, I think yeah, the tricky thing here is just reading the words. And unless you have some sort of like language skill or some kind of, yeah, I'm looking at your skills and I just don't see anything that's super relevant that would give you the ability to decipher what these words say.
No, I was going to go with more myths of looking at the
Yeah, looking at the pictures
about
though, I can tell you a little bit more about what's going on here. So yeah, I mean, this is just like a daily life of these people. I will tell you that the things you're seeing are certainly of another world. These are not people that you recognize from any stories you've read, and matching it up with the images you've seen in the shadows and the shadowy images in the crystal confirms that all of the people who lived here and worked here were from a different place. They're not of this world, right? And this kind of lines up with the theories on how these crystals got here in the first place, because they allegedly fell from the sky, right? So these are people from another place, another planet, from the stars, from the heavens. And but using your organization skill, incidentally, the nature of these mosaics would indicate that you are still in the part of the tombs that is for the common working people. You are not yet where the royals and nobles are.
I pass that on and say anything of great worth is going to be beyond this. I have no idea
Even
how large
deeper,
these catacombs are, but we need to push on to where the real treasure is.
So the normal people were meant to get speared on the spear trap. What a strange people.
I think this door might lead to the better stuff.
To the better stuff, right? Like, because a lot of the normal people were just chucked in the cave back behind you. So,
yeah. All right. So how is this door again?
So let's talk about the door. The door is the central feature here. So now this is going to be the trickiest part of running this module, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it is a puzzle door, and it is a literal puzzle that I'm supposed to print and hand out to each of you. And it is one of those puzzles, like a circuit connection puzzle is what it is, right? Where you have to draw a circuit. And I have no idea how we're going to do that in this context.
I don't know. If you put it in this, if you put it in the thing and we take a break and one of us can do it, maybe
that could be it. Well, so let's talk about it though. So the door is a 10-foot diameter slab of bronze that appears to, like, it doesn't appear to open in or out. It probably sinks down when it's opened into the floor. You can feel it humming with magic, even without any particular skills or abilities. You can feel the sort of like radiant hum of magic around it. And there is a lock in the center of it with a keyhole. But also there is a rectangular plate. And this rectangular plate is a grid work of sealed crystal tubing. And I'll show you a picture. I'll go ahead and clip it. add it to the thing. This is one of those rare instances where face-to-face would be easier. Let's talk about the puzzle door. I'm gonna let it dominate the image board for a moment. So it's one of those like circuit puzzles where basically there are junctions that can be rotated, right? And you see all of this, right? So what do you do, Ravel?
I mean, I think I pointed out to everybody, and it's like, this seems like something we could figure out, but I don't know what will happen if we guess wrong. Get a close look. What do you think?
Are those
Some-
circles movable?
Yeah, they're supposed to like you
Yes.
rotate. They rotate in
They
place.
can be rotated, right?
You
don't
can't
quite,
move 'em-
You don't quite yet
can't
know
move
what
'em.
you're even supposed to be like moving through it, right?
Right. Yeah. I will grasp the little circle on the bottom right and just rotate it so that it completes the rectangle, you know,
Mhm.
and see if anything happens.
Yeah, so let me read the module.
We all slowly step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's really good. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. I feel so like out of my depth as a story gamer trying to do this OSR bullshit. I don't know how to run this. Okay, so yeah, it can be rotated. I'm trying to figure out what happens when you touch it. That's the main thing. That feels important.
Perhaps nothing happens unless you get it right.
Okay, all right. So I know that when you touch it, it causes like a little like so when you first touch the tubes, liquid fire will appear inside the tube at the point of contact. Okay.
Oh, how interesting.
So right where you touched it, there's liquid fire.
Okay.
And when you turn it, you now have liquid fire at this junction on the far right corner.
Oh, I see.
And as you draw your finger along the tube, the fire will follow.
Oh, I see.
And so you have to make a path, a complete unbroken path by twisting and turning and moving the fluid to go out. I assume to go
somewhere.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. This is what you have to figure out. I can't like tell you what solves it. That's what you have to figure out. Right.
What's the set goal again?
The set goal is to pass through the bronze portal, so we can trophy gold short wire this with 3 tokens.
No.
Which would almost certainly infuriate Gus, but I don't care.
We spent like 4 bundles of rope, got wounded, and gained nothing when we could have spent tokens to get here where we can safely solve a puzzle.
I mean, there's always a chance that
Yes.
things, you know, I mean, I don't know how safe you are necessarily. Things could wander in or whatever, but you're relatively safe compared to the geode graveyard where yes, you gain no treasure.
Right, and spent all our equipment, like all of it. Like I'm galled that like we're gonna just give up on this thing immediately.
It's not time to turn into cannibals just yet.
But we told a good story in doing it.
It was more interesting than trying to solve a puzzle. Because I don't know how we can cooperatively try and solve a puzzle. It seems like this is kind of a one-person activity.
It is indeed. So we're about time for a break. We could take a break if you each want to. have a crack. But the thing is, you know you have to draw the path, but you don't know what you have to do, right? Like that's the thing. So
Right. Yeah. There's no.
I would I would
it's
almost
not
want to go
entirely
towards the
obvious.
key. The keyhole kind of like breaks through the wall there. I think I would go to the. I would go. Lysander would go to the keyhole. He would lead the fire to the keyhole. But I don't know what I don't know what Revel would do or Kel.
Yeah, I mean, we can each say what we would try and accomplish navigating the path and see if that solves it. But are there like,
I
if
like
you
that
do it
approach,
wrong,
yeah.
are there negative consequences, or would we just continuously try this until it unlocked per the module?
Well, I can't tell you. Do you try? Do you try something and see what happens?
Yeah, I think I
The
have an
keyhole's
idea
too
for
easy.
my
I've already
approach.
the keyhole's too easy. It can't be the keyhole. So my next
Could be.
suggestion would be at the top, that you get the fire out of the top.
Yeah, mine Ravel's approach would be to try and fill the two diamonds with fire.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting. Intriguing. Well, let's take our break. Let's take 5. We'll come back and we'll figure out what we're gonna do. All right.
Okay, we might just have to spend tokens.
We'll see. Okay, so upon reading the module, I think I'm supposed to just tell you how to do the puzzle, and then you do it. And so the way you have to do the puzzle is you have to be able to draw a line through all of the rotating pieces so that it is a complete circuit without crossing over itself, right? And so that's what you have to do. I was just explaining off mic or off camera that there are other ways to get past the door as well. And I'm open to any suggestions that do not involve solving this puzzle, though this puzzle is one way of doing it. There is no particular danger in trying different things over and over again until you get it right. Except just that the longer you wait around doing this, the more potential danger could happen. So,
Okay.
but if somebody wants to attempt drawing it, by all means. Or spend 3 tokens. That is also an option.
And the third option would be to, or it may not help though, is to figure out what what's written above the door.
That is one of the. That would be a big clue that'd be a big clue. Yeah, what you could do as well.
I don't have
some
that
kind
skills.
of object or something that'd be helpful. That'd be good.
I don't have the skills to read it, but I do have my other ritual, which is to contact my former lover.
Oh, perfect. Marcello, right?
He could read it. He could read it.
Yeah. That's great. Do you want to do that?
I don't know how much I trust Marcello, just because you can talk to him. Because like my superpower is I can talk to ATM machines, but they don't really talk back, right? So I can't command them to give me money. So I don't know if it would give us another point of information, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, let's read the specifics of the ritual here. It says, summon the spirit of a deceased lover. Reunite. Okay. And you would just try to get Marcello to decipher the words for you, basically.
Yeah, he was like a Lord Librarian. Or
Right.
something.
Yeah. This seems like an interesting move. Also, I mean, Marcello appeared in that image, but I think it's an open question whether that was actually Marcello or not, right? That could just be the place fucking with you a bit. In any case, if you want to do that, I'm down with it. If you want to make the risk roll. If you succeed, I'll tell you what it says. So.
Are you guys okay with that?
So, what could go wrong here?
He lies.
I think what could go wrong is that I think basically, well, That sounds more like devil's bargain. I don't know if I have any other thoughts on what could go wrong, except that maybe just something simple like you just don't have access to the ritual for a while or something like that. This might not even be a risk roll, to be honest. This might just be a hunt roll. So it's kind of seeming more and more like it. But let's do it as a hunt roll with the justification, with the 2 dice justification being the ritual itself. I think that makes the most sense. Take your token. You'll encounter something terrible. We'll talk about the terrible thing in a moment. But for now, Marcello will appear. For people watching the video who haven't seen your previous adventures, what does Marcello look like?
Marcello is an older Lavesti nobleman who was in charge of the royal library there in Lavesti, and he's tall and has like like a gray hair, and in his spirit shows that as kind of more of a white kind of glowing hair, and mustache and beard, dressed as a nobleman.
And he says, Lysander, what would you have me do?
First, how's things going in the Beyond the Veil?
How are things going in the spirit realm where everyone is dead and wandering around and lamenting
Yes.
the tragedies and travails of their life endlessly over and over again with no chance of ever satisfying them? It's fantastic.
That's always good to hear. And here I am, as you trained me to go out and search for the unknown. We're in we're off in the crystal lands that have been cursed and bombarded by crystals from other worlds.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Here we are. That's where we are, down in this deep dungeon in the land of the crystals. What do you make of this writing?
Ah, yes, yes. This language is known to us, known to archivists and historians. We have had many opportunities to find fragments and pieces of it, particularly in the area around the Crystal Frontier, and we have made some decipherings. Well, it's quite elementary, actually, Lysander, but I would be happy to tell you regardless, even though there's nothing difficult here. It says, light my mark and witness my glory.
I do. Thank you for that. I never studied the languages, and I regret that very much. But you never really talked to me when you were living about Oculus. What do you know about Oculus? Because this is where we are. There's plenty abound.
Yes, the Oculus. They are reservoirs of magical power that have occasionally been found among the crystal tombs. They are incredibly powerful mediums by which to work magic, through which you can work magic. They make rituals more powerful, more enduring. Well, I suppose if you had a big enough Oculus, they could even tear a hole right through reality itself that you could step right through.
Excellent.
Oh, Lysander. I can actually sense such a thing in this place. I would be happy to tell you when you're getting close to it.
If you do so, I will light more than enough candles in remembrance. I've been a little.
If I
I've
do
been a little
so,
cheap. I've
you
been a
will
little cheap, but
use-
I can put in more candles this time, Marcello.
If I do so, you will use the power of the Oculus to tear, rend through the veil between our worlds, that I may return to the mortal realm.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Says, I'll just be over here. And by over here, I mean in the back of your mind. Encouraging, prodding, as I did when I was your teacher.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way. I don't think these words help open the door. But while I've been talking to the spirit, Ravel's been playing around.
Ah, the puzzle is complete, I see in chat.
Did it.
Okay, hold on, wait. I can't see it that way. You gotta like take a picture or something.
Okay. you want I don't know how long you want to check my work, or I can describe it for you, or
Yep, I want you to take a picture
What?
of it and post that
Okay.
picture somewhere where I can find it so I can review your work.
very good. All right, I've got a picture. I'm going to Discord.
Okay, very good.
I'll pop it into Dice, I suppose. I don't know.
Sure, people will look at that and wonder what the hell we're doing. I love
Be
it.
like, what's happening here?
Okay, very good. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay.
All right. So I
Where'd you
started in the
start?
top left.
Okay.
Started in the top left.
Very good.
Go all the way along the top, kind of jut down,
I see
go
that.
start going left, have to jut down, then kind of curve back up, continue left,
Uh-huh.
go all the way across, go down, go as far across as you can, go
Okay.
down, go right,
Yeah,
go
I'm
down
following
one,
along, I'm following it. Yeah.
go down, go left, go up, go all the way across to the left,
Yeah.
go down one, go all the
Yeah.
way as far as you can, then down again, then across,
See that. Good.
then,
good.
then down through, then down over. Then
Oh
in the
yeah,
middle,
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of have to curve around.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Yep, you did it.
That's OSR.
So Marcello was no help and is now just going to be a problem probably. But the door is open. Very good. Okay, let's talk about the door being open. Once you have done you've traced the fire the way it's supposed to go, you feel the magical hum, almost like it's like sort of vibrating, like, you know, kind of, but faintly, you know, it's like it's like a tinnitus, right? Like you just kind of hear it a little bit in the back of your ear, and then it stops and just lowers into the ground, opening up an entrance into the next space. I will point out that you haven't completely looked through this room, though. We have these 4 brass braziers in the corners of the room. The 4 brass braziers, each of them are harsh geometric sculptures of fanged and clawed 4-armed apes holding little bowls, inside of which you might notice, Kel, are blocks of green incense. And yeah, that's the other kind of key feature of the room. Kel, what are you doing in the meantime during all this?
This might be a bit of a stretch, but in our last session, I gathered up some fruit of a Duchess's Delight. And I know that when fermented, it has some kind of healing property.
It does indeed.
I'm
When
wondering,
fermented,
is there
yes.
any way that I can activate those properties?
Yes. I think in its raw form, it will be enough to make your condition go away, but not lower your ruin.
Okay, I think I'd be preparing my Duchess's Delight, and
Very good. You can do that. You can just cross it off and remove the condition.
okay.
Very well. Anything else to do in this room, Lysander?
With this, with the stairs being trapped, those statues they make me a little nervous. So I don't really want to touch anything in this room. And I will proceed with caution with one of the spears, looking for pressure points from here on out, which will slow things down a little bit.
That's okay. That was probably a wise move. Anything else you want to do, Ravel?
Oh, I think Pate and I are the ones who are like playing with it long enough to figure it out. And I think it's maybe chilling him out a little bit. I'm like taking a moment here.
I like the idea of Pate being really good at puzzles. It's like...
Yeah, he's just really good at it. And I'm like, this new generation and their leisure activities, I don't understand it. But I wonder if it might like boost his confidence a little bit. Not so much that he'll take the lead, but just so he'll, calm down.
Calm down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, we'll say that's true. And let's take a look at the next piece of the dungeon. Let's get rid of this puzzle from the map. And Seckle complete. And the next part of the dungeon is lying before us. Let me pull it up. Oh, interesting. So the next portion is just a great big long hallway. Very good for your spear ground tapping activities, probably. It is quite long though, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I'm curious.
I was going to say, for double caution, I don't even think we should walk down the middle of these hallways. We should be off to like the sides. We should spread out and like go full on. This place is trapped mode.
Yeah, everybody take a spear, and I'll toss dice in front of us.
Who's got the ball bearings?
I've got dice. I don't have ball bearings. But...
Dice might do. Let's have since you're kind of taking like trap detection lead, Lysander, make a hunt roll. You use 2 dice with the spears. No token. So it's a 2, no token, and you do encounter something terrible. As you are making your way carefully down this area, you're not running into any traps. The crystal floor is quite smooth, and this particular tunnel even has a fair amount of light coming in from the surface, and so you can even see okay without Pate's torch. But the problem is this. At the end of the hall, I don't know if it's necessarily purposely guarding it, but at the end of the hall, near the doorway that the hall lets out into, you see it's one of these glass school creatures, but it's grander in appearance. They're tattered, but it's wearing what probably used to be very fine silk robes, and on their fingers, which have been preserved well in the purple crystal, are rings and bangles and things on the arms. And it looks up at you or in your general direction, and it makes that crunchy glass-like sound as it opens its mouth. It is still, I think you're going to have to deal with this combat-wise, but you have the jump on it if somebody wants to ranged combat this creature before you rush in.
All of us ranged combat it.
I like the idea of trying out the ranged combat here because one of our goals for today. And Kel, it looks like you were volunteering to do that. So let's read it.
Yeah. Great.
Ranged weapons have 3 slots representing your ammunition. Ranged weapons can only be used before the combat roll. To participate in the combat roll, you have to use a melee weapon. For each shot you fire, roll 1 light die and keep the best single die. This die can be used as one of the 2 dice that are used to beat a monster's endurance and is never re-rolled. So basically this, like it stands as it's always there. For each 1, 2, or 3 that comes up, however, you have to mark an ammunition slot. When all your slots are marked, you can no longer use that weapon. You can spend gold in Hearthfire to unlock those weapon slots. So basically, you just get to choose how many dice you want to roll, and try to get a 6 basically, or a high number, and avoid 1s, 2s, and 3s. So how many would you like to fire off?
I have a question, a mechanics question, Jason. So if when we go to roll weak dice, and that number comes up, what happens?
That doesn't count because it's not. Well, I don't know. It's maybe not clear from the text, to be honest. This die can be used as one of the 2 dice used to beat a monster's endurance and is never re-rolled. I think this is just a free bonus dice, to be honest. But the problem is that the person who's doing this is not in that initial combat roll, right? So they're safe because they're at range, so they don't take any hits. They can only contribute basically, but they're not part of the. That's how I read it.
So,
anyway.
Yeah, if all of us do ranged combat right now, my reading is we would have the opportunity to reduce its endurance before we're drawn into the melee combat.
Why is that? I don't understand why that would be.
So, all right. So the rules say ranged combat. They can be used before the combat roll. Hasn't happened yet.
Right.
For each shot you fire, so we can all be firing shots.
Right.
Roll a die, keep the best single. This die can be used as one of the 2 dice used to beat a monster's endurance and is never re-rolled.
Right, when you eventually engage it in melee.
Right, so we could all queue that up. We would take the best 2 dice, and that basically we would know if we could enter the combat safely because we all ranged attacked it, and then we get into melee, but we're able to slay it easily because we already know what happened.
Right. Yeah.
But we would have to basically expend all of our ammo to do it.
Right,
all have ranged weapons to be able to do it and have the jump on it, which
I think
apparently we do.
I think in the spirit of trying this out, I think it would be interesting if Kel does the ranged combat to prepare the 2 of you to combat the Lith mummy or this glass school or whatever it is. 1 or 2 of you could stand back and do that. But yeah, I think it's the way you've described it is the way Jesse intends it. You could all just do it, and you kind of know going into the combat what kind of advantage, basically how much you got to do, or what your chances are of beating it automatically, right? Which I think would be super interesting. Okay, so let's just give it a go. So I think first of all, how many shots are you going to fire, Cal?
Do I understand correctly that if I do ranged combat, then I won't be participating in the first round of combat? So instead of a combat 3, it would be a combat 2?
It's not clear, but this is why we're doing this, so we can figure out the holes for Jesse. I'm going to say my ruling for right now in this moment is you're basically firing off at range while they're rushing it, because that's how it would go in a combat, right? That's how it would go in D&D, right? So you're not in the combat role, but you're still helping, right? So you're not in danger. You don't have to roll a weak point, but you're assisting in this other way, right?
Right. Okay.
That's my ruling right now, but we'll talk to Jesse about it after this is over.
Sounds good. I'll roll 2 die.
Okay. So just to do a risk 2, just to get 2 light dice on the table.
All right. So a 2 and a 3.
Okay, so that's not great, and you lose, and you have to mark 2 ammunition slots. I think you're meant to fire off lots of shots to get a good result, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the 3 will be helpful. So let's see. Lysander and Ravel, if you're going to do the combat, you should have to say what your weak point is. The thing is only a 7, so it's not it's going to be some tough fight or anything.
Okay, so as long as one of us can get a 4 or higher,
yeah,
we can take the 3 and it will be
precisely
slain.
Yeah, exactly. But I do need weak points as you rush in. Tell me how you're vulnerable.
My weak point is 3, and I think I'm vulnerable in that I'm keeping Pate behind me. So if this thing flings shards, I'll take the hit, not Pate.
Let's see. My weak point is 6. And I think the issue is I'm attacking without armor right now. I had to pack it away. And then do we need to roll a weak point for Pate?
No, if Pate, well, yeah, Pate will have a weak point because Pate can take ruin, right? But
Right.
but he's on his own. Like you don't have to like.
I think I'm
protect
keeping him out of the combat.
Oh, you're keeping him out. Okay.
Yep.
So
He actually should probably hang back with Kale.
very good. So let's have a combat 2. Go ahead and roll it, David.
Okay.
Okay, well that did it even on those 2 dice. But you're good. So you will destroy the creature. Go ahead and Kel, give us the first part of the narration with the as soon as you see the creature, what do you do?
As soon as I see the creature, I level my crossbow and just kind of somewhat haphazardly let loose 2 bolts across this hallway.
And then keep it going, Lysander.
I'm standing on the edge of the wall because I don't want to step in a pit. And I shout back at Pate, "Stay with Kale!" And I charge in with one of the trap spears, and I try to like just ram it into the ghoul.
And finish it off, Ravel.
It's been wounded and it's like dropping down to all 4s, but it's like leaning its head back like it's about to spew out something. And instead of letting it spew something out, I just give it the whole length of the spear.
Nice, I love it. Lysander, roll a 7 gold. This will represent the various jewels and things on it. 0. When
They're
you
all
get there,
rusted.
yeah, it's all just rusted and flawed and not great. But it was also a very easy fight. And we got to try out the range combat. I think the range combat would be more interesting with a very hard monster, like something that's like 10 or 11 endurance, because then we can kind of see how that really helps. So maybe we'll get another chance later. But in any case,
we could go back and lure the bowel.
yeah, you could do the bear. Do the bear. The bowel.
The barrack.
The bowel barrack.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, you could do that.
Calling it a barrack. Everyone will laugh at us if we get back to camp and say we fought a monstrous bowel.
Indeed. Okay, so let's go to the next part of the dungeon here. All right. Do a little clip here. All right. This is actually connected up by a somewhat long hallway, so it's not quite a perfect thing here, but it's good enough. Okay, this is a really interesting room because I'll just read it to you. This is a vaulted chamber with carved stone walls and a geode-like ceiling studded with pink crystal. The light here is pretty dim. You can see okay, but with Pate's torch, you can see pretty well everything I'm describing. The space thrums with whispered sounds of pain, emanating from the many large glowing crystals of various colors in the room. These large glowing crystals are each about 6 to 7 feet tall, about half as wide. And you can hear coming from them, and you have 2 doorways, one in the north and one in the west. or east rather. So what do
What's
just
what's
do?
that? What's to the west? Is that not a doorway?
That is not a doorway. That is just a wall.
Okay.
So first in, Lysander, what do you do? You're muted.
I checked and it didn't show up as muted. Since I've already heard rumors that that light is a weakness to some of these things, and then the 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 words above the door said something about using light to show the way. Is there any, and all we have is torches, so we don't have anything to like generate more light than that. Do we see any kind of lighting apparatus or any way to turn on some of these crystals?
Make a hunt roll. How are you checking?
I'm just looking for any type of um, uh, contraption or mechanism that these ancient people would have used to generate a spark or something. Maybe some a little wheel. I'm just looking for some type of contraption or buttons or levers to turn on the lights.
I think it's probably just a 1 die roll for now, because the room is already fairly lit. So the torch is any extra help, or it's dimly lit. Unless you have another piece of equipment or something.
No, I got a
to help.
6 on the 1 roll, so I'll
Yeah,
take
there you
that.
go. Take that. Take your token. You don't notice anything like that though. What are you doing in the meantime, Ravel?
Oh man, I'm getting a closer look at these gem things. See if anyone might be the oculoid that we're looking.
Oculoid.
What's it called? I'm sorry.
The oculith is the little orb thing
Oculith.
that Lysander saw in his vision. Okay, so these large glowing crystals, there are 13 of them. They're prisms jutting out from the floor, each between 6 and 7 feet tall. They make a forest of translucent panes and angles. How are you investigating them?
Well, I was just trying to see if one might be that thing. It's supposed to be like spherical and not
Spherical.
sharp edged? Okay, so I'm just looking for one that's spherical.
Yeah, no, you don't see anything like that. You just see these just at a glance. But if you want to investigate the crystals more closely, you can get a hunt roll.
Yeah, I want to see if any of them look mobile. Like we could take it out of here. It might be valuable.
Sure,
It's a great big gem thing.
Yeah, you never know. Go ahead and make a hunt roll.
Okay. Skill, piece of equipment. I mean, I'm just looking around with a torch, so I don't know if that does it.
If you're holding the torch closer to the crystals, that actually will help. Go ahead and roll 2 dice.
Okay.
Because you can see inside the crystals better.
Oop. Five.
Take your token. You look inside, and you see inside the one you're looking at, there is a figure inside. The figure is writhing and begins to make noises that sound like they're in pain. They even seem vaguely aware of you as they writhe in the crystal. That's just what you see from holding the torch up. Do you do anything else?
Is this like a person is like encased in crystal, or there's like a small person in the crystal?
There's a person in the crystal. It's like they are, like the crystal's like hollow, right?
Okay, but they're like a normal sized human being.
They're like
okay,
about your size. Yeah.
Oh man, I think I look at everyone else and I'm like, there's people trapped in here. We should probably get them out, right?
And a cursory examination of the others will show that each of these prisms sticking out of the ground has a person in them.
Are they human or are they those other?
That's hard to tell because it's just like you can't see a lot of detail.
They
Just
may Ravel,
So
they
in
may
the-
not
in
be
the-
humans.
Well, in the sculpture thing, that the puzzle thing, the people had strange ear things and antenna things. Do these people have that?
If you're knowing to look for that, yes, you'll notice that they have like long wispy ears that go up.
Oh, they're not people.
No, not people of the realm.
What should we do with them?
They're probably here for a reason. Maybe they're maybe this is how their nobility live. Doubtful.
They don't seem comfortable.
Wonder how they're
Who am
breathing.
I to interfere with this interstellar justice system?
Yeah, they might be locked up in here for good reason.
Cannot violate the prime directive of tomb robbing. Yeah,
Well, Kel, what are you doing?
I don't want to let them out.
I'm just tapping lightly on one of them to see if
The moment you touch one, there is a loud, raw-throated screaming coming from that crystal. The moment you touch it, it's just like this, like they just scream like wildly in pain. And you are hit like with a powerful psychic force, which you must resist right now with a risk roll. David, Daniel, what could go wrong here?
The thing possesses kill.
You it ruins your eardrums and they bleed out your ears.
Oh no.
I'm gonna say it wipes a ritual from your mind. Or maybe even worse. I don't know, we'll see. But in any case, we have ideas. Let's talk about dice. This is just pure instinct and reaction and physicality here. How do you resist it? Do you have a relevant skill?
I have training in athletics.
Training I'll do.
Oh.
I'll say that involves a certain amount of mental fortitude as well. You got a light die, devil's bargains.
No matter what, it speaks into your mind.
I like that too. I'm gonna second that because I know what they do.
I'm gonna say no matter what, for the rest of your life, you will have dreams of this scream.
Kind of almost more of a long-term version of what we suggested, which is good. Anyway, yeah, what do you think?
I'll take the devil's bargain of that Ravel, so David suggested.
Very good. And dark die is automatic. Go for it.
So risk 2?
Risk 2-1.
2-1. All right. Ruin does not go up. It's a 1, but it's a 3.
Yeah, 3 light is a failure,
Yeah.
which means you are going to get hit with all the terrible force of this unless you want to add a dark die to try again.
And my ruin right now is at 4.
Or yeah, you'd have to get a 5 for it to go up.
And getting hit with the full force. Did we? Is what at stake here losing a ritual?
Maybe. It might be, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to add the dark die. Is that a risk?
It'll be a risk 2-2 for 2 light, 2 dark. Hey, there you go. 6 light.
All right.
Fantastic. So you just describe how you like endure this assault. Like how does this like overwhelm you? What does it feel like? How are you feeling? What's going on?
I think I would I don't know, I'm thinking about the sound of the swarm of bees as being something that I'm used to and that my ears are kind of tuned to. And so I go inward, and I think I probably react by just covering my ears immediately. And in my mind, I'm just kind of being surrounded by bees, and I'm letting that sound kind of like overwhelm me rather than what's actually happening.
I like it. That's good. And so, David, remind me, the Devil's Bargain was the thing like is in his head now.
No matter what, it speaks into your mind.
Yeah, that's good. So once things settle down, well, we'll come back to that. I have some thoughts on it. Actually, that might be a good place to end the session. Your companions maybe pick you up off the ground. Maybe you give them a warning, don't touch the crystal tombs or these little crystal chambers. And and you hear a voice in your head that says, it's a woman's voice. And she says, oh, I have often wondered if I was going to have another chance at you. If I was going to be able to be by your side, I sacrificed everything. I sacrificed everything, and I did things that no one in my position should ever do. And that's why I ended up in this place. But now we are reunited, my love. And together we will accomplish all of our terrible ends. And we will stop there and go straight to Stars and Wishes. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
My star is just for the whole session. I thought it had a little bit of everything, and I really enjoyed it. The exploration, the delving, the puzzles, the combat, and I feel like it all just kind of hummed along, and the pacing was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
It had a very, very classic dungeon crawl feel, which I like, which is the purpose of this. And yeah, I really enjoyed that part of it. I liked the problem solving in the beginning, especially with getting across the wide chamber and dealing with the zombie horde and moving the zombie horde this way and that way and keeping them at bay. That was all really great. I loved all that. It's good. Good stuff.
I would I put stars with excuse me, with Marcello and with a duplicate
Yeah, that was all
Lysander.
fun too. Yeah.
But if we were playing Dungeons and Dragons and I cast that spell, it would have played the same way, right? It wouldn't have come back to mock me. Not the way we played it, but anyways, I like that it's that it has that aspect, and it doesn't say not to trust the ghost of Marcello, but I really don't, and it's based on the way that you portray Marcello. So the stars for that.
Yeah, I like the fact that Kel maybe and Lysander definitely have like spiritual free riders right now that are like they've taken the opportunity of you using your magic in this magical place to achieve some goals that they have, and we'll kind of see how it goes. We don't know too much about Kel's yet, but it sounds like based off her little speech that she's like the person trapped in that vault or that little prison cell thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think my star is for the classically like problem solving thing too. Like that was lots of fun to figure out a way not to use our tokens for this set.
Yeah, because you could just spend your tokens on that. Yeah, yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's like, and like not like just choose to go the other way, but like try and come up with a way to get across this with the things that we can do and have. And even though it was dangerous, it's like we did it. So that was, and it was like, I don't know, it's very like, this is what I think of when I think of like old school dungeon delving. Like you're trying to solve problems with 10-foot poles and lots of rope and twine and things.
Star for you doing that puzzle, by the way.
I'm glad it wasn't too hard.
I was 100% just gonna be like, just spend the tokens to get me past this puzzle. But it was fun that you did it. Yeah.
I'm glad that it wasn't too time consuming, and I was just able to do it real quick in the space of like while another scene was happening. because that was all the time I was going to devote to it.
Yeah. It's good. I love it.
I've got a wish that I guess for my future self, which is that I start to think more strategically about those tokens. I've got a stockpile of 5 at
A
the moment.
bunch, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm curious too, what is it at Ruin 6 that I could lose those, or how does that work?
Ruin 6, your character's gone, they're dead. And you can lose them all if your highest result in a hunt roll is a 1. So if you did a single hunt roll die and it was a 1, you'd lose them all. If you rolled 2 dice and they were both 1s, you'd lose them all. So
I felt that when I rolled the 1 die and it came up a 6. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be a 1, but my wish would be that we do some token management when we start back up, so that we don't lose those. Because yeah, Kelly, if you've got some stockpiled, I've seen them go like that.
yeah, they could be gone. Like you think you got a bunch, and suddenly you have 0.
Yeah, that would be a shame. I'm not sure what the set goal is right now, but yeah, I'm waiting for that set goal where it's like liberate the treasure.
Get the big treasure, yeah.
Get that big treasure.
Yeah.
Or defeat like get past the giant monster. Like the room full of zombies was there for me, but we figured out another way. We don't have equipment to do that again. So
right, you had to spend a lot to make that happen. Yeah, if it wasn't tokens, it was other things, right? So yeah, but it was fun the way you did it, though. It's good. My wish is I hope you all last long enough to get to like the next few chambers are like the big like scary Dark Souls shit chambers, right? So I kind of hope you get to those. I think that'll be really fun. So. I don't know if you all are excited about that, but I am.
I feel like we can accomplish, like we can get a lot of gold and retreat out of here. And that's
I thought it was fascinating that you all did not acquire very much treasure this session as compared to the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, there was not a whole lot of hunt rolls happened.
I feel like I don't have two. I feel like Lysander does not have 2 big rooms in him. Maybe 1. I think I can do 1, but I don't think I can do 2.
What's your?
I'll be pushing my luck.
Your runes at 4 right now. Yeah, you probably got a couple in you at least, I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah. Very good, very good. Any other stars or wishes? Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.